You work here as a janitor, huh? Must be tough being poor. Those condescending words come from Cindy, my brother's wife. Even after not seeing each other for a while, she says this with a snide laugh. I've known for some time that she doesn't think highly of me. I had thought we'd grown apart and I'd never have to see her again. Boy, was I wrong. But I won't back down this time. The fact that she's here means, well, you'll see. Holding back a laugh, I keep my composure and respond. Her face freezes instantly upon hearing my words. My name is Lita. I'm 30 years old. I live with my husband Lucas and our daughter Layla. Lucas and I have been together since college. We started dating after being in the same club. After dating for 4 years, we got married when I was 25. The next year, we were blessed with Layla, who was born without any issues during the pregnancy. She's 3 now, growing up healthy and without any major illnesses. Unfortunately, my husband's parents have passed away and can't see her grow up. But my parents are showering her with love, making up for the absence of her other grandparents. Our condo is just a 10-minute drive from my childhood home. Originally, Lucas and I were supposed to still be living there. My parents had wanted us to live together when we first got married. Life was peaceful, living with my kind husband and warm-hearted parents. That peaceful routine shattered about 6 months into our marriage. My brother Cedric brought his wife home. I hadn't seen him for almost 5 years. Cedric had a falling out with our parents, dropped out of college, and left home. I had no idea where he was or what he was doing until he sent a text saying he was married, without even a congratulations. He was absent from family meetings and even our wedding. So you can imagine my surprise and anger when he suddenly showed up. But I decided to hear him out. What he and his wife said, however, exceeded all our expectations. The moment he came back home after years, he told Dad, "Dad, Cindy and I have decided to live here with you." "What the hell? You've been off the grid for years and now you just show up?" "Look, I know it's not ideal, but I'm married now and living with you is the least I can do, right?" "Don't be ridiculous. You didn't even come to Lita's wedding." "Well, I'm sorry for that, but as a son, it's my duty to live with you, so Lita and her husband need to leave." Suddenly, the room goes cold. Even Dad is at a loss for words. Amidst this, I finally speak up. "Wait a minute. You can't just waltz in and say that. Lucas and I are living here." "So what? You're just sucking up to Dad to get the house, aren't you?" "What? That's not true. I just want to live with my parents." "Listen, you're just a daughter. A son, especially the eldest, like me, takes priority, even for living arrangements." Just because you're the son, just because you're the oldest, so what? You quit college on your own. You left home on your own. I can't take this nonsense anymore. Just get out. I grab my brother by the arm and drag him to the front door. We continue to argue at the door, but Cindy chimes in, "Let's just go home for today." So my brother begrudgingly leaves. This has left my parents and husband absolutely drained. We're all worried about what my brother might pull next. A few days later, the doorbell rings. When I open the door, a stranger stands there, and there's a mover's truck parked in front of the house. Confused, I ask the man, "Are you with the movers? I think you've got the wrong house." "Nope, this is the right house. We're here to move stuff on behalf of Cedric." "Cedric? My brother?" "Ah, so you are family. Well, excuse us then." Wait, hold on." The mover returns to his truck and signals his crew. Then several men start carrying boxes into our house. I didn't know anything about my brother moving in, not a word. My parents are out, so I can't confirm with them. Thinking I might be the last to know, I rush upstairs to my husband. "Hey, Lucas, you haven't heard anything about my brother moving in, have you?" "What? What are you talking about? There's no way." "Then come look. Movers are bringing in his stuff." "What?" I've heard nothing about this. Never mind, just come. I pull my husband downstairs. The hallway is already filled with boxes and the movers are quickly adding more. My husband tries to intervene, but they respond, "We're just doing what we were asked. You are family, right?" We try calling my brother, but no answer. We try calling my parents, but their phones are on silent. Eventually, all the boxes are in and the movers leave without another word. Faced with the pile of boxes, we're both struggling to understand what's happening. What's going on? Why does my brother have so much stuff here? Is he planning to move in without telling Dad or us? We consider the worst case scenario. We decide to wait for our parents to return home and discuss what to do. But then, an hour later, it's my brother and his wife who show up first. "Hey Lita, we're moving in. You better get out." My brother! You did move your stuff without telling anyone. Why not? This was originally my home. What's wrong with bringing my stuff back? What? Are you kidding me? While arguing, I hear a mocking laugh from behind. I turn around and see Cindy with a smug grin. Noticing my gaze, she says, "Oops, sorry," without a shred of sincerity. And then she taunts me with an audacious statement. "So you must be Lita, right? Can't listen to Cedric or something? How childish can you be?" Excuse me? What's this about? For the record, my brother left college on his own terms and moved out. Why bring this up now? Haven't you heard? Cedric moved back in to live with your parents. He's such a good son. Look, we never asked for this. This is where my husband and I live, so please leave. Too bad. We've already given up our condo. What? Anyway, you guys are the ones who have to leave, not us, so good luck. Cindy then starts unpacking with my brother. Later, my parents return home and argue with my brother, but he and his wife refuse to leave. From that point on, life becomes a living hell. Every day, my husband and I are insulted by my brother and Cindy. They freely use and break our clothes and accessories. When we ask for an apology, they dismiss it with, "We're family, so what's the big deal?" Even when my pregnancy is confirmed, she says, "Lita, you're just a housewife, right? And Lucas's company is just an average one." "Your child is going to be born into a poor family." That's so sad. Why are you having a baby before us? Read the room. I start to feel myself deteriorate mentally. Eventually, just being in the same room as them makes me cry, and I lock myself in my room all day. Seeing this, my parents suggest to my husband that we separate. It'll be too late if something happens to our unborn child. Apparently, my parents persuaded my husband to move out of their home as soon as possible. My husband immediately finds a new place for us to live, and we move there. Life becomes peaceful as if the past was a lie. The initial period after the move was shaky, but with my husband by my side, I managed to pull through. I delete my brother's contact, and I ask my parents not to give our address to him and Cindy. Soon, my parents start visiting us frequently, apparently ignoring my brother and Cindy back at the family home. They ask them for the living expenses and rent they'd be covering for us. When my brother and Cindy refuse to pay, my parents start throwing their belongings out into the yard. Unable to tolerate this treatment, they finally move out. It's been nearly 3 years since, and I haven't seen them. We considered living with my parents again, but we never know when my brother might show up. With that in mind, living at home was not an option for me. Also, our family home is aging. Recently, the possibility of my parents moving into our condo has come up. So there it was, another day. I was heading out the front entrance for some shopping when I saw a familiar face. The moment I saw her, bad memories came flooding back. Oh my gosh, is that you, Lita? Oh my god. It was Cindy who approached me with those words. Why are you here? Why wouldn't I be? I'm here to check out this fancy apartment building. Check it out? You're not planning to move here with my brother, are you? Well, that's a secret. But running into you is a total surprise. Still struggling financially, huh? Excuse me? Struggling? With that, Cindy cracked a smug grin. Then she pointed at my outfit and went on. That cheap-looking sweater and those skinny jeans must be tight on money to be walking out of here like that, right? What are you talking about? Oh, you poor thing. You have a kid now, don't you? That's just so sad. What's sad about it? My husband and I are happily raising our child. Don't get all defensive. Someone like you with no redeeming qualities shouldn't even be having a kid. Talk about delusional. Cindy burst out laughing. That was the tipping point. I'd had enough. Nothing had changed since I last saw her. Actually, she seemed even more focused on bringing people down. I couldn't stand it any longer. I'd had enough. I opened my mouth to speak, steeling myself for whatever came next. Look, what's your problem? I get that you don't like me, but can we just not get involved with each other? What's the rush? Scared I saw you at your most pitiful? Pitiful moment? What are you talking about? Don't play dumb. You're a janitor here, aren't you? Must be tough being poor. Turns out she thought I was a janitor here, not a resident. It was an easy mistake to make. The high-rise apartment I currently live in is so expensive that there's no way we could afford it on my husband's salary alone. Cindy, who knew where my husband worked, assumed we couldn't afford to live here. In a tone full of disdain, she continued, "It's crazy. You're even working as a janitor just to be around this place. You must be really desperate, Lita." Can you stop making assumptions? I'm not the janitor. Oh, chill out. How about this? I'll keep quiet about seeing you here to Cedric, but in exchange, from today on, you're my servant. You'll do whatever I say. Got it? She's assuming I'm the janitor in this luxury apartment building and even making a childish proposal. I've had enough. It's time to give her a dose of reality. Excuse me, what are you misunderstanding? This is my home. What? Cindy, who was all smiles moments ago, freezes in disbelief. Ignoring her obvious shock, I go on. Let me clarify. This is the home where I live, and it's owned by my husband. Wait, what are you talking about? This luxury apartment was originally one of the properties owned by my husband's parents. Now it's been passed on to my husband, who rents it out through a real estate agent. The reason my husband was able to find a new home so quickly is because he owns this place. He inherited this luxury apartment from his parents, and it was originally meant for renting out. He prepared it to protect me from my brother and his wife. Now I've also started learning the ropes, helping out with the real estate agent to lessen the burden on my husband. Her name should have been recognizable to me from the start. My husband and I never saw my brother's or Cindy's name on the list of prospective renters from the real estate agent. Ignoring her shock, I press on. Cindy, who did you come here with today? What? I came with Cedric, of course. I didn't hear my brother's name from the real estate agent. So you came with someone else? No way, I came with Cedric, and just then, an unfamiliar man runs up from behind her and says, "Sorry to keep you waiting." He puts his arm around Cindy's waist and gives her an affectionate kiss. At that moment, I know what's going on. She also realizes I've caught on, so she hurries to distance herself from the man. I make sure he can hear me as well as I speak up. Cindy, are you sure it's okay to be here like this? Being a housewife and gallivanting around, you'll tire my brother out, you know. Hey, what are you talking about? Oh, what's this? A married woman on a date with another man? Or is he just a friend? I have to tell my brother. Stop it, please. She pleads desperately. tears forming in her eyes. But I'm done holding back. I spoke strongly to her, who's pleading with her eyes not to make any more unnecessary comments. You really have some nerve, don't you? Making people miserable, pushing them to their limits, and you haven't changed one bit. And now you're cheating? You're as low as they come. Wait, Lita, please, shut up. Because of you and my brother, I've suffered a lot. How dare you mock people without even an apology? I will never forgive either of you. You'll experience the pain I went through, and then some. At my words, she collapses on the spot, lying face down on the ground, sobbing loudly. That's how Cindy's affair came to light after I reported it to my brother. Turns out she was also hiding the fact that she was already married and had been persuading her lover to buy this high-rise apartment for her. Caught red-handed, Cindy ended up getting sued for marriage fraud by her lover. Shockingly, my brother was also having an affair with someone at work. His affair got exposed around the same time at his company, and he was demoted to provincial office. Cindy apparently followed him, but they both kept blaming each other for their predicaments. Both were hit with hefty fines. Cindy from her lover, and my brother from the lover's husband. They couldn't cover the costs with Cindy's status as a former housewife and my demoted brother's salary, so they even resorted to illegal lenders recently. It's going to be a long time before they get back on the straight and narrow. And no, I'm not going to help them. As for me, life continues to be happy with the family of 3. Thanks to my husband's generosity, my parents will also be moving into the same high-rise apartment building next month. We won't be living together, but it's another way to be close to them. I couldn't be more grateful to my husband. I plan to live my life to the fullest, cherishing those around